Hi all. So I've had another week of royal drama playing out on screens around the world. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry and Meghan. The royal dramas don't really concern me. I'm not English. I'm Australian. What does concern me as an Australian relates back to the very heart of the Australian Constitution. My name is Brett Manning. I'm trustee of the New Aussie Constitution Trust. The New Aussie Constitution is a proposed draft replacement for the current Australian Constitution. In this video series before, I've spoken on a number of occasions about my concerns that the ultimate power in the Australian constitutional system is an unelected individual from a foreign country. Ultimately, this person controls whether Parliament's laws become a law in Australia. Ultimately, this person has unopposed power if they chose to exercise it. And a matter that's always been concerning to me is that the monarch is surrounded by unelected officials. The palace, in inverted commas. Princess Diana apparently called these unelected officials the men in grey suits. They provide counsel to the king and are accountable to no one. Australia is extremely exposed under the current constitution to what the monarch wants. And if the monarch chooses to exercise more power than has traditionally been the case here in Australia, legally the monarch has that power. The High Court would have to uphold that power. The King, through the Governor-General, can withhold any Australian legislation he chooses. The King can make decrees through the Governor-General that will be binding on Australia and the Australian Government. Because according to the Constitution, the Australian Government is run by the Governor-General on behalf of the King. That's the legal basis for our government. And it might not even be an overt decision that the King makes that we're all aware of. What about the influence? What about the influence behind closed doors? So if the King wants to see a change in Australia and puts pressure on the Governor-General to put pressure on the Australian Government, how would we ever know that? Any such discussions would be kept confidential. And all of a sudden, we would have a foreign head of state influencing Australian government that was elected by the people. It's completely inappropriate in this modern day and age. The Australian head of state needs to be Australian, and they need to be elected by the people. This is like a ticking time bomb. One day, we will have a monarch who will decide that in the best interests of the Commonwealth, or in the best interests of the monarchy, or what they perceive to be the best interests of Australia, they start to exert influence over the operation of the Australian government. It's just a matter of time if it doesn't happen already. The reality of the current Constitution does not support this at all. And there is a huge risk, and that risk needs to be addressed. The proposed draft New Aussie Constitution is a complete draft which you can review, and it's been prepared outside of government and outside of political parties. If you'd like to know more about the New Aussie Constitution, please visit the website at www.newaussieconstitution.com.au. I think this latest royal drama just underlines the fact that it is high time we replaced the Australian Constitution. We became a truly independent country. It is time that we had an Australian head of state, and that head of state be elected by the people. Thanks very much for your time.